오늘 행사에 사를 맡은 총무팀장 배주수입니다. 바쁜 가운데 참석해주신 직원 여러분께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 오늘 이 자리는 중국의 의료시스템과 최근 의료환경의 변화에 대해 마련된 뜻깊은 자리이며 현재 중국 의료 분야에서 활발하게 활동하고 계시는 전명한 의료진을 모신 소중한 강자인 만큼 평창하는 마음으로 강의를 들어주시기 바랍니다. 오늘 강의에 앞서 정기용구 김천의료원 원장님의 인사 말씀 및 의료 소개를 큰 박수로 전해드리겠습니다.
안녕하십니까. 오늘 우리가 좀 대단히 쉽지 않은 자리를 외부 초청 강사로 모셨습니다. 그래서 이분에 대한 거를 일단 간단히 설명드리고 시작을 하겠습니다. 이분은 중국에서 수조 태생으로 수조 대학을 의과대학을 나온 다음에 카나다의 맥길 대학에서 신경외과 6년의 수련을 마치고 중국으로 다시 돌아와서 광저우에서 선야센 안병원의 신경외과를 창설을 하고 지금까지 일을 하고 있습니다. 선야센 안병원은 베드 수가 2,200 베드 정도 되는 경우이고 1년에 뇌수술은 1,600개 정도 뇌종양만 주로 하는 병원입니다. 그래서 중국 광주에서는 가장 임상 활동을 많이 하는 그런 병원 중에 하나고 2년 전에 저희 직원들하고 같이 20여 명이 이 광주 병원하고 그 주위의 전문병원, 사립병원을 다녀왔습니다. 이 선야센 안병원은 국립병원입니다. 정부에서 돈을 대줘서 하는 병원이고 얘기 들어보니까 2년 정도 있다가 1,500베드 정도를 더 증설을 해서 거의 이제 한 3,000베드, 4,000베드 되는 병원으로 말도 들으면 할 병원이다 이렇게 얘기해 주셨습니다. 그리고 이분이 특별히 모시게 된 거는 저희가 작년, 재작년에 중국에 2번 갔었잖아요. 그래서 갔을 때 중국의 병원하고 연결도 해주시고 또 여행이나 이런 거를 전적으로 담당을 해줘서 우리가 비용도 많이 절감을 하고 또 중국의 문화나 음식을 갖다가 잘 경험할 수 있는 그런 기회를 만들어줬고 여러분들 아시겠지만 올해 5월 말에 중국의 스촨에 있는 성도라는 데 병원에 방문을 하게 되어 있습니다. 그래서 한 23명 정도 가게 돼 있고 딱 보니까 병원 설명도 하겠는데 화시 병원은 한 4,200베드 되는 그런 큰 병원에 또 가게 되고 지금 마무리 단계에 있습니다. 그래서 여러 가지 도움을 주셔가지고 이번에 모시게 됐는데 우리가 원래 모시는 게 아니고 이분이 뇌종양 전문가이기 때문에 대한뇌종양학회에서 뇌종양에 관계된 초청연사로 내일 인천에서 학술대회가 있습니다. 그래서 학술대회가 있는 거를 저희가 이용을 해서 어제는 이제 대구에서 1박을 했고 김천까지 모셔가지고 강의를 준비를 했습니다. 그래서 이분이 얘기하는 내용이 사실 뇌 전문가이기 때문에 어떤 내용을 부탁을 드릴까 하다가 그래서 큰 그림에서 중국의 의료제도 또 현재 중국에서 의료를 어떻게 진행하고 있는지 이런 거를 여러분들이 들을 기회도 없을 뿐더러 관심도 별로 없는 내용인데 그래도 그런 내용을 좀 여러분들이 들으면은 대한민국 의료가 어느 정도 와 있고 또 어떻게 가야 되겠는 그 방향을 조금 더 여러분들이 이해하는데 도움이 될 것 같아서 어렵게 자리를 마련했습니다. 그래서 이분은 지금 중국을 대표하는 뇌종양 전문가이고 또 특히 뇌종양에 관계되는 그 국제 연구를 많이 하신 분이고 중국을 대표로는 그 항암 치료제의 학회 회장이기도 하고 경험이 상당히 많으신 분이기 때문에 그 뇌종양에 관계되는 권위와 여러 가지는 굉장히 국내에서도 많이 알려져 있고 또 뭐 중국을 대표하기 때문에 국제적으로 많이 알려진 그런 그 인사로서 아마 오늘 좋은 얘기를 해주시지 않을까 그런 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 여러분들한테는 좀 생소하겠지만은 그래도 우리 병원이 조금 좋은 병원으로 가기 위해서는 지역 병원이지만은 이런 국제적으로 네임밸류가 있는 이런 분들도 와서 또 방문할 수 있는 그런 병원이 되었다 하는 거는 여러분들한테 좀 자랑스럽게 생각할 수 있지 않나 그런 생각이 들고 오전에 저희 병원에 와서 한번 둘러봤습니다. 그래서 저한테 얘기하는 게 병원은 작고 또 환자는 아주 많지는 않지만은 그래도 병원이 깨끗하고 정리가 잘 돼 있는 것 같다 그런 얘기를 합니다. 그래서 천야센 병원보다도 더 환경은 좋은 게 아닌가. 여기는 중국은 워낙 환자가 많고 병실이 숫자가 많기 때문에 우리가 생각하는 그런 깨끗한 환경, 뭐 정리정돈된 그런 느낌의 병원들은 아닙니다. 그렇지만은 수술 숫자나 환자 숫자 이런 거는 저희가 비교할 수 없을 정도로 많은 진료를 하는 그런 데서 근무하셨던 분이기 때문에 아마 그렇게 얘기하셨나 하지 않았나 생각이 들고 그래도 이렇게 김천같이 지역에 있는 공공병원이지만 역할을 제대로 하고 있다 이런 거를 아마 이번에 이렇게 보여주는 거는 굉장히 좋은 역할이 아닌가 그런 생각을 하고 있습니다. 오늘 하여튼 어려운 시간 또 어려운 분을 모시고 이렇게 자리를 마련했으니까 아마 좋은 강의가를 되기를 바라고 하기 전에 또 저희가 우리 공공병원에 오셨으니까 우리 김천의료원에 대한 내용도 좀 소개를 해야 될 것 같아서 제가 간단하게 준비를 했습니다. 그래서 이거는 뭐 중국분이기 때문에 제가 중국어로 준비를 했습니다. 그래서 의료원을 갖다가 간단히 설명을 드리고 그 다음에 강의를 듣도록 하겠습니다. 首先那个向你那个表示那个我们金泉代表我们金泉医院表示那个衷心的感谢，就是那个你来这次你来的那个机会应该是一般来说那个很不可能，但是你应该是你抽空的那个时候那个在来这里那个今年韩国的那公共医院的情况怎么样那个是很珍贵的那个机会吧我再表示那个向你表示衷心的感谢。还有那个一个是我简单的介绍一下我们金泉医院的那个情况怎么样我们医院那个建立为那个1921年左右，以后那个我们医院到现在那个是100多年的历史吧。어디 볼까요? 그래서 두 가지로 내가 중국어로 하는 걸 여러분들 알아들을지 모르실 테니까 한국어로 옆에 그래서 여기까지 오셨으니까 우리 김천의료원에 대한 설명을 하기 위해서 이렇게 준비를 했습니다. 그래서 김천의료원의 100년의 역사에 대해서 간단하게 설명을 드리려고 합니다. 어느 게 이동으로 首先那个热烈欢迎中国广州那个陈总斌教授访问那个金泉医院嘛。이거 어떤 걸로 이동하나? 그쪽에 해?如果我发放那个我的医院的那个100多人的里程，发放了那个4个阶段。1921年那个我们医院建立了以后，到现在是这样的那个发展的那个阶段。因为那个日本帝国时代，我们这里有那个武林的那个救护医院的院长，以后那个光复后那个青山北到道里的那个金泉医院有那个6名医院长，还有那个现在那个青山北道那个金泉医疗院的院长是一共7名，现在从1921年到现在一共那个18名的那个医院长。在那个日本帝国时代，我们医院那个建立了以后，这个日本的那个居民统计上，他们是那个具有那个统治选项性质的那个医院，还有那个光复以后，1949年金泉岛立医院那个正式设立了。韩国战争时期那个我们那个负起那个主生命的那个神圣使命。从1906年到2000，我们那个通过那个体制变革、专科政策那个设备现代化，达成那个成长的现代化的那个进程。应该是那个从1990年到2000年，我们是照那个飞跃那个信息化时代的时期，那个是由那个设施扩建、数字化转型那个强化公共智能达成的这样的那个对吧？应该是我们努力那个做那个慢性病管理和那个以病人为中心的文化，还有那个必备医疗功能强化等的努力下，我们可以强化我们公共医疗的那个安全网。那个新冠疫情的时候，我们作为感染病专门医院，做那个在这个地方的骨干的作用，可以那个守护金泉居民健康。在金泉有那个3个景点的，一个是那个今天那个下午我们去过的那个智子寺，还有一个是我们吃午饭的地方左右的那个莲花池，还有那个是我们必处理的那个修行道场找那个青岩寺，这个3个地方是在历史上最有名的一个遗址吧。我们那个下来100年的未来，我们做公共性的专门性的亲切感的努力下打造100年的未来的医院。20年我们的医院的那个方向这样的，这是那个泛舟最优先的公共医疗医院，守护青山北道的岛民的那个健康和保健的守护者，周围地区那个据点公共医院那个地区责任医疗机构发挥中间的作用，提供优质的基本医疗和公共医疗服务，这个是我们今天的公司的那个方向。我们医院的年龄现状是现在我们员工大概是那个500多吧，包括那个医生那个47个人。 今天我们那个金泉医疗院的发展方向是强化基本医疗、心脑血管中心那个急诊中心那个分娩室那个透析室这样，促进诊疗活性化、健康检查中心那个幸福诊疗那个家庭护理，还有自主理论的强化、扩充那个医生护士，加强与大学医院合作。经营效率化这个政府财政政策的透明经营和引入那个 AI 医疗技术等的努力下做那个这样。如果那个中汉医疗机构功能比较是那个功能上那个类似中国儿科医院，同时那个具有那个区域基准医疗中心功能。部分专科功能接近那个三甲医院，中间金泉医疗院是那个第7公立医院，及那个承担儿童医院的医疗功能，具有那个区域责任医疗机构的公共角色。OK， 这样的简单的介绍是我们医院的情况，谢谢。
감사드립니다. 이제 최정부 교수님을 모시고 강의 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 강의 자장은 동료원 원장님께서 맡아주시겠습니다.
It's my pleasure here because Dr. Zheng is my we called old friend for many years, maybe more than 20 years. It's very honest for me to hear because this is a very difficult time to hear. It's not easy. Usually we don't think I can come here, but Professor Zheng invited me here, so it's very nice. Today I already visited your hospital. Have a very clear idea about your hospital. It's true. It's a public hospital for the common health. I think it's very good, and also in this area is a very historic area. It's a very good place to see. Because I'm not the leadership in Chinese hospital, and also the professor is for specialized doctors. But Professor Zheng asked me to talk about Chinese system, medical system. Of course, I know a little bit about in our countries, so I just share with you about this what's going on in China, because I think most of you didn't visit China, even China. For the medical system, you maybe don't very clearly know about that. So let's go. This is just a pattern. Here I show some pictures because I just said I know Professor Zheng maybe more than 20 years ago. I remember first time he was in Taiwan, not in China, and then I invited Professor Zheng to visit China for many times. So here you can see Professor Zheng is very young in my lab. Because I'm a doctor, I also have a lab in our cancer institute. So some students in my lab. And we also, actually we are working together, build the bridge between China and Korea, especially for brain tumor specialists for exchange the idea. So we call the China Korea Brain Tumor Society friendship meetings and like that. Once in China, once in Korea, for maybe more than 10 years ago. More than 10 years. Because this time is 10 years anniversary. So it's a very long history. And we also including my team, visited Korea for several times. Professor Zheng also visited many times in China, including this time I remember is in Sichuan province, it's a very high mountain. So anyway, this is the history about why we are so very close friends. So I always say that China and Korea, we are close neighborhood. We are brothers and sisters. We are working together. Chinese medical system is complicated. So I can just show you a little bit about the development of the past, because every day is changing. And also give some idea about from medical profession's view, that a doctor thinking about what's about that system. And also, just if you are a patient, what's your feeling if you are become a patient in China? We can just a little bit about different state. The early the founder of China, the People's Republic of China, at that time, this the early state, and then later it's we call it market origin reform. It's always changing, but recently a little bit more developed. Let's say it's that time. Actually, at that time, it's very poor in China. But the medical system at that time, the most all we can say all found we call it public welfare auditing system. So everyone can get medical treatment, but it's a very low service. At that time, because the shortage of doctors, we don't have a lot of doctors in China, so we call the barefoot doctor. So it's difficult to understand. Actually, most of medical staff are not doctors, but they are trained and served as medical service system. Of course, it's also improved a lot about health care in China, because especially in the rural areas, in the countryside, it's difficult to get medical service. But we call the medical, we call the barefoot doctor. They are going to the countryside. So they did lots of work. And also improved, we call the public health, improved a lot. You can see the life expectancy. That area time is increased a lot. So this is their contribution. And but this at that stage, that time, public Medicare, this is all public. But basically, the level is very low. We call the basic service only. And started from 80s, 1980s. At that time, you also know at that time, Deng Xiaoping comes up again. So we call it economically started economic reform. So economy is growing up. And also in hospital, medical support budget is very low also, because in whole country you need to develop economy develop. For the medical support is not sufficient. So in the hospital, they need to get every hospital need to get their own revenue. Simply say, hospital need to make money. Otherwise, it's difficult to stay. So, drug makeups, and sometimes, of course, at that time, advanced technology also increased, but this also need money. But in the hospital, government don't have lots of money to support. So government, the hospital have to think about it. If you are head of the hospital, you have to consider how to make money. So this is a problem. So it increase a lot of problem. The expense for medical expense is increased very high. For patient, it's difficult to pay for that. So at that time, also is government-funded medical care. It's majority. But in the countryside, rural areas, we also call the cooperative medical care. But it's very low support. Let's say, if you need 100, maybe this cooperative medical care maybe can support you 30%. So it's very low. So of course, if some people have ideas, okay, you can buy commercial private insurance, but there's very few people. So at that time, medical environment is very confusing, very, we can say it's very complicated. And even the patient is difficult. Hospital also difficult. But they are growing. So that time, like government funding is low. But at that area, time, advanced technology is growing. So even in the hospital, we need to buy the new instrument. Let's say at that time, by CT, MR, it's lots of money. But the hospital have to make money and then to buy it. The hospital cannot get money from the government. It's difficult. So that time we called market-oriented time. But make a lot of problem. So it's difficult at that time. So start 2000. So we call it comprehensive reform. So the government have to think about make balance, because at that time, central city and the rural areas much different. It's imbalanced for the medical technique, for doctors, for financial support, all that different. And also university hospital and the city, county hospital, rural hospital, it's unbalanced. And of course, patient needs and the providers resources not balanced, not balanced. So at that time, the government thinking about to make this, we call it very deep reform. So, just like currently, that whole medical, we can say more than 90% the universal coverage for the medical insurance. But this is a mostly, it's different for public, for the government insured, for private, for the lots of different support. And also, if a public hospital restore public welfare, can basically focus on the public service. And also have this heritage of diagnosis and treatment system, make it actually relatable. From high level hospital connected with low level hospital to make some connection. And the recent years, of course, digital health even AR system is very popular in current country hospital. So even in, let's say, in our hospital, already for the CT, for MR, even no slides, just digital report of our image. And for the patient to see doctor register only just online register only. So it's just same like Zheng said in your hospital, in the future maybe we are still strong primary care. Primary care is very important in Chinese hospital now. And focus on scale to quality and cooperation. You know, in China we have very big hospital. The whole in Chengdu, not Chengdu, Zhengzhou, patient bed in whole hospital group. We call the hospital group more than 10,000 beds, patient beds. But this is not good. So currently the government asks the cut off their cost. They ask the hospital separate different small hospital. Because this is a lot of problem. The patient is still difficult to get beds in. And the service is not so good. So, so now the government asks focus on the quality. And of course, even AI, digitalization is very popular, even in the, we call it grade 2 hospitals already. And also address on aging population and the chronic disease. This is also very put on the stage. So here I touch about what kind of a system in China. So we call it dual. Let's say if we focus on the function, so we divide separate the hospital, let's say greater, very primary is grade 1, second, and the third. The third one, grade 3, is the highest level, highest service. Grade 1 is primary, basic service, just like community service. And also we based on ownership of the hospital. So we have when it's a no profit, another kind of for profit. When no profit, most of course is government hospital. Their purpose is not make money. If it was full profit, the hospital is business. Then focus at least one of their goal is for the make money. Most of the private. So this is we can say China's medical grade system. So grade 3 is the highest. Most of university hospital, big hospital in central city. So they are for every kind of diseases. Most of course, is severe, difficult problem to serve. And grade 2, most of the provincial or city hospital, they provide comprehensive specialized care for their own region. Of course, different regions, the people also can go across the region, but focus on the region. And the basic is grade 1. They provide basic care. Most often, it's a community health center or township health center, even in the village. They also have this kind of medical service. So it's for chronic disease management and public health programs. So they have different grade. And we also classification by specialized. We also sometimes call this hospital is general hospital. That means they can deal with everything. They have surgery, Medicare, any kind of department there. That's full. So we call it general hospital. And in China, we have another special, we call traditional Chinese medicine hospital. But actually, this hospital, this kind of hospital, not just only traditional Chinese medicine. They combined traditional Chinese medicine with Western medicine together. But in China, the government put very more attention on Chinese medicine. In Guangzhou, we have a big hospital. And also we classified a specialized hospital. This means focused on certain kind of disease, let's say cancer. Our hospital, we call the cancer center. It's a specialized cancer hospital. We don't treat other diseases but cancer. And also cardiology, our children, even some specialized hospital. And we also classify this is a teaching hospital, a medical university hospital. But not every hospital is a teaching hospital. Even it's a big one. They are the combined. So let's say the ownership, the structure. I said a public hospital. This is owned by government. Even local government-owned hospital. And their purpose is to provide basic medical service. Of course, they are strict. It's no profit. They don't make money. But this is theoretically says don't make money. But I tell you, the hospital, if we don't make money, their staff, they have no money to pay the staff. This is complicated. Another we call the private hospital. Private means owned by corporation or private investigator, investor, or even individual. they have in China also have many this kind of private hospital. Their purpose is various. Let's say some are for making money, some are no profit. So they have for profit and no profit. They have two kinds. This is also complicated. Let's say if the hospital has money, no profit, or because their service is public service, the profit used for the development of the hospital, not for the bonus, not for the share to distribute. And for profit, because the market driver, their money, if they own money, they can distribute it as dividends, share. So this is different. Of course, the public hospital, the price is government controlled, but private, for-profit hospital, the pricing is market driven. Of course, this also government have some ceiling on it. Hospital cannot say very high price. This is cannot. About the payment in China, the border like that. If the people getting to the hospital, you really need to pay the basic amount just before treatment. Of course, finally, when the patient discharged, they have to pay for the bill. Of course, if government insurance paid, they don't need to pay. But supplementary, they have to pay by themselves. The insurance, basic medical insurance, I mean, if the government insurance, it depends on the area, different area. The coverage is different. Some very low, only maybe can cover 20%. Let's say they need 100. The government paid you only 20%. But the highest, they can cover more than 8%. For me, I know in China, in Shenzhen, because the economy is very good in Shenzhen city, their insurance paid about 80, even 85% government insurance. So this is very good. Let's see some examples for different kind of hospital. Let's say we call it's junior hospital. West China, we call it Huaxi, West China Hospital. Professor Zheng said this maybe you are really good to visit. They are also founded very early. They are, this is surgeon, the beds, employee, it's a lot. This is not the biggest hospital. Zhengzhou is the biggest one. I think this is the second one. Of course, this hospital is grade 3, is the highest one. And it's a general hospital, also it's teaching hospital. They are no profit. So this is a very big hospital. This is also general hospital. Jiulong Hospital. Last year, Professor Zheng will visit in Suzhou. This is a general hospital, but they are not public hospital. They are corporation-owned, 九龙 group, Group. But they are full profit. So the boss of the hospital, they can use their dividend. They can make money. They are also highest one, grade 3, and the function is general hospital. Also teaching hospital. Why teaching hospital? They affiliated with Shanghai Jiaotong University. So this hospital is also the teaching hospital. This is our hospital. Actually, our hospital founded in 1964, so more than 60 years. We currently have 2 campuses in. This is the old one. In Guangzhou, have another one, and currently build about another new campus in function 2 years later. So our hospital is specialized for the cancer. So we call it cancer hospital. Because in our hospital we also have a cancer institution for the research. So we have a hospital and the research. So both together we can do a cancer center. And of course we also, it's grade 3, it's the highest yield in China. In China, very high level hospital for the cancer is our hospital, the Beijing Cancer Hospital, and academic Beijing Academic Hospital, and the Shanghai, Tianjin, so the big one. And of course we are also the teaching hospital because associated with CAC University, and it's public, no profit. Let's say this is a specialized hospital. Beijing Sanbo. It's they are located in Beijing. The build up, I think, is 2004. Professor Zheng, you know Yu Chenjiang. Yu Chenjiang is one of the founder, specialized for the neurosurgery. They are also very highest level for grade 3, but they are private. They are private hospital. They are also the teaching hospital belongs to Capital Medical University. And they are corporation owned. So they are full profit. So now Yu Chenjiang have lots of money. He's also one of the boss. And this is Guangdong Provincial Hospital for traditional Chinese medicine. This is the biggest traditional Chinese medicine hospital in China. They say that the herb every day they use for several cars, several trucks. They are public. Of course, it's not profit. They are highest level care for them. But they are not just, I think, not just Chinese medicine, but also Western medicine. They are working together. Another example is specialized for the children. This is in Shenzhen Children's Hospital. This also is highest level, grade 3, and specialized for children, public, no profit. This one is in China for the children care, it's the highest level. So lots of I showed all are grade 3, the high level hospital. This one, actually this is Changjing, is my hometown. It's a township hospital. For the function, they should be grade 1 because for the private care at that region, of course, it's public, no problem. But they are taking lead on the technology, on the we call that even grade 2. They are also big, not so big, but still it's even more than big as even the same as your hospital. Also, we also have a lot of township community. This is nearby the resident area. We call the community health center. That gives the primary health care service to the community, for the local people. But actually, if we have our area, if we have some severities, we cannot go to this area. We can directly go to the hospital. So, for the situation in China, we call the I just show from healthcare view or from patient experience. This is very popular in China, in the public hospital. Of course, this is the foundation of the Chinese medical system. But very often, in the most of this kind of hospital, the patient is very crowded. Of course, every people, if you want to see a doctor, you select this hospital. You can go there to see doctor, to find a doctor. Previously, we register just like online registration. This is difficult. Sometimes even in the very early morning, you have to go to the hospital to stay online to get registration. It's difficult. Currently, they also register on the network. You use cell phone, so much easy. Even sometimes so crowded, but even you can one day solve problem. You can find a doctor, see a doctor. Of course, most often maybe get book a test at the same day. But this is a very crowded service. So, from patient experience, regular clinic, the cost is lower, very high value, even no practice. So many people crowded in some road. So in the hospital, we also have some so-called VIP channel. Some way we call it some international clinic, even in the hospital, public hospital. But this is the cost is high. Some part we cannot cover by legal insurance. Of course, this is make it a little easy. We offer very short wait time. This is a very good place, but not every people can go through the VIP service. And we in some hospital have we call it Berlin channel. Of course, this is most often used for stroke, heart attack, or even trauma. This is a very fast service, but it is a special channel. So I got to show the so-called VIP service is it's a much comfortable for the people, for the patient. Even one-stop service, you can see doctor, make appointment, you get everything. But the cost is, I say, is very high. Not just outpatient, we also have some inpatient service. Even sometimes you can pick up, you can choose which kind of specialist service for you. But it's more high expense. In our hospital, we also have 3 floors for the VIP service. My patient can stay there, but the price is double. So the double one, usually the insurance will not cover. The patient have to pay by their own pocket. Let's say in professional experience, for actually working in most of Chinese hospital, the doctor working always beyond the limit. They work more than usually regular time. This is just like a number. Let's say we now every week is a 5 days work, but the weekend, of course, we, especially young doctors, have to go there and on call, not just on call, even the working. We can say we start at 8. Usually you can leave at 5:30, but even 80, you're still in the hospital. Most often it's like that. And also high patient load. We usually sometimes a half-day clinic. Most of the doctors, they have 30, even 50 patients. It's difficult. Only a few minutes for the patient. So this is making lots of problem. The patient, you don't have time for communication with the patient. And for the doctor, also have something we call the invisible second shift. Not connected, not connected. And lots of paperwork. Sometimes I'm not sure in Korea it's like that. In China, we also have the government that have some inspiration. They come to check what you have to prepare everything. And also another difficulty is for the doctor in China, they have to promote. Let's say just graduated from university, medical school, you have to get training. After training, you become a doctor, you have to promote, you have to increase. You have lots of pressure. Doctor also need to have some scientific paper. You have to do research. You have to get some grants. You spend lots of time on that. And of course, for the medical, you have the learning all ages. So, I don't think in China, but everywhere the same. Of course, for the, let's say for the doctors, medical profession, highly educated. In China, working load is very high, and financial rewards is low. I compared the let's say for doctors in China, the income, of course, recent years is increased than before, but compared to Korea, to Taiwan, to Hong Kong, it's much lower. So not sufficient for the medical doctors. Let's say graduated for medical support in China. I'm not sure. I don't know in Korea what's kind of system. In China, 5 years medical school we call bachelor, and most of students graduates needed to get a master's degree, PhD degree, and then resident training. It takes a lot of time and post-doctoral training. So this is the education system. And for the clinic, resident training, after that, get attending physicians. At that stage, you are only very just a ground, very basic. You need to get promoted to the associate chief physician. This is a gap. You don't not just the clinic training, but also you need in most of the Chinese hospital, even especially in this high educated let's say university hospital, you need publication. You need to get the grants. If you don't have that, you cannot get promoted to this state. If you didn't get this level, you're always just like a resident. So this is a problem. Of course, the highest one is we call the chief physician. So the doctors have lots of pressure on them. They have to get so-called research, not just medical work in the clinic, but also research and grants. So in China currently, I think about in China medical situation. Medical technique equipment is advanced. We also have everything. Let's say, not even in I think maybe currently more than 10 centers have photon therapy in China. More than 10 centers. Lots of advanced technique. But still have to balance is the developed areas and the remote areas have to balance it. And also this medical system still need to improve. I'm not the governor, I'm not the leadership, but for my opinion, we need education for Chinese medical education is not very good system. And the training and the service, even the service, I can say in China, the majority of the hospital only give actually it's just a basic service for the training, for the treat the disease, not treat a patient. It's a different. Treat the disease. Disease could be an animal. But the patient is patient. It's a human. It's different. But in China, this is have to improve. And of course, the financial balance. We need funding. Currently, actually in China, is still problems for the funding. And the healthcare model is a lot worse. Of course, that's professionally wants it to still have to improve. This is everyone is consumed complaint. So it's difficult. Okay, so we are friends also brothers, sisters, friendship and cooperation. All are for greater life. This picture we take in Taiwan. So that's it. We can talk if you have any question.
좋은 말씀이시면 이어서 강의에 관련해서 궁금한 사항 있으신 분은 질문해 주시면은 대답을 해주시겠습니다.
뭐 영어로 하셔가지고 질문할 필요는 별로 없으실 것 같은데 오늘 우리 그 천 교수가 중국의 의료 시스템에 대한 거를 전반적으로 이렇게 정리를 너무 잘해 주신 것 같습니다. 여러분들이 얼마나 받아들였는지 잘 모르겠는데 세세하게 중국의 의료 시스템의 문제 또 현재 상황 이런 거를 너무 잘 정리해 주셔가지고 감사드리고 이 정도 내용을 정리하려면 시간도 많이 걸리고 정보도 엄청 많이 들어야 되거든요. 그래서 여러분들이 아마 이 내용 중에서 이해가 가는 면도 있고 이해가 잘 안 가는 면도 있을 텐데 그거는 개인에 따라 좀 틀릴 텐데 제가 보는 데는 굉장히 소중한 얘기들을 많이 해주신 것 같아요. 그래서 이 강연 내용의 그 요점을 좀 얘기 드리면은 중국 의료 시스템이 결국은 한국 의료 시스템하고 별 차이 없다. 그런 거로 대비할 수 있을 것 같아요. 다시 말해서 의료보험으로 거의 전 국민의 83%를 다 커버를 해주고 있다. 그리고 정부에서 서포트 해주는 것이 거의 80% 이상 기본적인 의료에 대한 거는 해주고 있다. 이런 얘기를 드리고 또 하나는 이제 좀 여러분들이 생소하게 느낄 텐데 VIP 채널이라는 게 있잖아요. 그러니까 환자가 와서 일반 환자가 보는 라인이 있고 VIP 환자가 보는 라인이 따로 있다. 그러니까 VIP로 오는 사람들은 의료보험을 더 내고 또 의료보험을 추가로 돈을 부담을 해서 이 사람들은 진료도 빨리 받고 검사도 빨리 하고 수술도 빨리 하고 그리고 돈은 이 사람들은 더 많이 걷고 이런 시스템으로 되어 있습니다. 근데 우리나라는 아마 이런 시스템으로 되면 난리가 날 거예요. 누구는 돈 많으니까 빨리 보고 또 이렇게 해주고 그러면은 차이에 대해서 굉장히 관용이 많지 않은데 중국은 이렇게 나라가 크고 하더라도 이런 VIP 채널을 이용하는 사람들은 의료보험도 돈도 많이 내고 사보험을 내고 이런 거 하는 시스템이 우리하고는 좀 틀리다. 그런 말씀을 드리고 나머지 의사들의 어려움을 굉장히 얘기 많이 했잖아요. 아까 얘기한 거 보면 아침 8시에 출근해서 5시 반에 퇴근하고 환자만 보는 게 아니라 연구도 해야지, 그 다음에 강의도 해야지, 그 다음에 교육도 시켜야지, 뭐 이런 얘기를 또 연구를 위해서 펀드도 따내야지 이런 것들을 다 하는 굉장히 어려운 직업이다라는 거를 얘기를 하시고 그렇지만은 그거에 비해서 의사들에 대한 그 보상이라든지 이런 것들은 그렇게 높지 않다. 그렇게 얘기를 하더라고요. 아까 얘기를 해보니까 1년에 한 달에 월급이 다 포함해서 우리나라 돈으로 1,400만 원 내지 1,500만 원 받습니다. 그렇지만 수술은 많이 하고 환자도 많이 보지만은 그 정도밖에 보상을 못 받는다. 그런 얘기를 하더라고요. 그래서 우리나라가 그 환자를 보고 나서 받는 그런 여러 가지 혜택이나 이런 게 굉장히 잘 많이 받고 있다 이런 걸 여러분들이 알아주시고 특히 그 의사들이 하루에 일하는 시간 40시간 일하는 사람은 13%밖에 안 됩니다. 거의 대부분의 의사들이 그러니까 2급, 3급 병원이라는 게 뭐냐면 2급 병원이라는 거는 우리같이 종합병원 3급 병원은 대학병원 및 트레이닝 병원 여기 있는 의사들은 쉽게 얘기해서 한 13%만 40시간 일하고 나머지 90% 이 사람들은 그 이상의 일을 한다. 그게 굉장히 고되고 힘들다. 이런 얘기를 해주고 있습니다. 그리고 이제 중국 의료에서 가장 문제점은 지역별 차이. 그러니까 잘 사는 지역, 발달된 지역의 의료 시스템하고 그 다음에 낙후된 지역의 의료 시스템이 워낙 차이가 많아서 의료질의 차이가 많다. 그런 얘기를 해주고 있고 이제는 최근에는 이런 거를 의료에 아까 인터넷 뭐라고 그러죠? 진료 오는 게 한 3,000곳 된다고 그러잖아요. 그러니까 인터넷을 이용을 해서 지역에서 차별받는 의료를 최대한도로 줄이고 하도록 노력을 많이 한다. 그런 얘기를 전반적으로 했습니다. 그러니까 나머지는 뭐 옛날 얘기니까 옛날 얘기는 우리가 여기서 두줄 거 없고 현재 의료 시스템이 우리하고 차이가 있고 의료진들이나 이런 보상도 굉장히 좋지만은 일은 열심히 하고 또 최근에 발달된 AI나 이런 디지털 의료에 대해서 정부도 노력하고 있고 기업들도 노력하고 있다. 그런 얘기를 하고 병원은 딱 양분돼서 공공병원은 100% 정부에서 다 커버하고 그다음 민간병원도 논프라핏 하스피탈이라고 해서 돈 벌으면은 자기네가 가지는 게 아니고 재투자하는 병원들이 있고 또 하나는 프라핏 자기가 이익을 내면은 병원의 이익으로 하는 병원들이 있다. 이건 대개 전문병원 아니면 외국에서 투자한 병원 이런 것들은 100% 이익을 보장해주는 그런 시스템으로 가지고 있습니다. 그러니까 의료비도 비싸고 그런 병원들은 첨단 시설이고 환경도 깨끗하고 이런 걸로 돼 있어요. 그러니까 우리하고는 조금 스펙트럼이 넓고 다양하고 돈은 더 많이 내는 사람은 잘 치료받고 빨리 치료받고 돈 못 내는 사람은 기본적인 치료는 받는다. 이런 얘기입니다. 큰 그림에서 얘기로. 그래서 이런 정도로 여러분들이 이해를 해주시면 될 것 같고 이렇게 중국의 의료 시스템에 대해서 이렇게 일목요연하게 한번 여러분들이 우리하고는 어떤 차이가 있나 이런 거를 좀 비교해 보고 아까 내가 마지막에 중국어로 얘기한 것 중에 뭐냐면 그럼 김천의료원을 중국에 갖다 놨을 때 어떤 상황이냐 라고 하면은 우리는 2급 병원에 해당되는 종합병원이다. 그렇지만은 일부 전문과가 있기 때문에 이런 것들은 상급 병원에 준하는 부분도 있다. 그런 얘기를 했고 한 그런 설명입니다. 그래서 이 정도로 정리하면 될 것 같고 하여튼 오늘 뭐 1시간 넘었잖아요 거의. 그래서 이렇게 여러분들이 좀 뭐 영어에 익숙하지 않아가지고 조금 서먹할지도 모르지만은 이런 거를 통해서 여러분들이 또 영어에 대한 강의도 처음 들어보시는 분도 많잖아요. 원래 이렇게 병원이나 발달된 데는 이렇게 소통을 하고 계속 국제 교류를 해야 된다. 그래야지 병원의 레벨도 올라가고 병원의 광고, 홍보도 된다. 그래서 오늘 이렇게 저 전문가를 모시고 이렇게 시간을 가져서 그래도 나름대로 의미 있지 않나 그런 생각입니다. 我再表示那个衷心的感谢。今天我理解中国的医疗体系怎么样，我理解你们的那个情况，谢谢。감사합니다.
오늘 시간을 위해 멀리 중국에서 오셔서 특히 강연해 주신 신정비 교수님께 감사장 표현하겠습니다. 원장님과 교수님께서는 앞으로 큰 박수로 모시겠습니다.
Yes. Certificate of Appreciation. On behalf of Kimcheon Medical Center, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your excellent lecture entitled The Development of Chinese Medical System and the Current Medical Environment in China, delivered on March 13, 2026 at Kimcheon Medical Center. It was a great honor and valuable opportunity for us to gain a deeper understanding of the medical system in China. We sincerely hope that you will continue to make a significant contribution to human health, not only in China but also around the world. March 13, 2026. 김천의료원 정영구. 이 감사장과 김천의 특산품 도자기와 꽃다발 전달하겠습니다. 기념 촬영하겠습니다.
촬영하겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 네, 스톱. 네, 촬영하겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 다 같이 화이팅 한번 하겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋.